just about done, I think. So we can kind of get this show on the road. Once again, welcome to the Hall of Fame induction of the class of 2024. We have 4 unbelievable candidates that are getting in today. I'm really excited for you guys to hear about them, how they've connected with kids and athletes over the last 20 to 30 years for some of these guys. The MSTCA proudly welcomes the Hall of Fame class of 2024, a distinguished group of coaches whose unwavering dedication, expertise, and passion have shaped the landscape of high school track and field across the Commonwealth. These inductees represent decades of commitment to athletic excellence, mentoring countless student athletes, and fostering a tradition of success both on and off the track. Their leadership has not only resulted in impressive athletic achievements, but also instilled lifelong values of discipline, perseverance, and sportsmanship in their athletes. As we honor these coaches, we celebrate their significant contributions to the sport and their lasting impact on the Massachusetts track and field community. Woo. I chat GPT that entire thing, actually. So it worked great, but like I said, we have some awesome inductees today. 4 coaches I've certainly looked up to in my 20-year career. And what we're gonna do, we'll kind of go through some of their bios. Some of them have people introducing them. They all have a highlight video that we're gonna show, some even being introduced within that highlight video that Matty George put together, and then MSTCA member and Hall of Fame coach and one of my partners in crime, Chuck Martin, also really set up this whole thing for us and did a lot of behind the scenes work. So round of applause to Chuck. Our first inductee today started at Dedham High School in 1972. Was the, woo! Yeah, you can clap. Excited. Started in 1972. He's the first ever, or as the program started at Dedham, the first ever girls track and field coach at Dedham High School. It's closing in on 400 wins. He also, what I found really interesting, he was also the 2001 Field Hockey Coach of the Year and has won multiple state titles as a field hockey coach, which is unbelievable. And it just tells you that Frank can kind of do it all, can do anything. And as a small schools coach myself, he was definitely someone I looked to and admired when I first got into coaching as a school that was small, but then had big results. Always small school, big results. His daughter Karen Vaughn put together an amazing video. It really kind of gives you a look into who Frank Barbuda is. Go ahead and hit it.
Was lucky enough to be asked to introduce my father and former coach Frank Barbuda into the Coaches Hall of Fame. I can sit here and list off Coach Barbuda's resume. I can talk about all the awards, accolades, and championships he has won. His resume is quite impressive. But that is not what makes a Coach Hall of Fame worthy. It is all the little things that go unnoticed. The accomplishments of the Dedham High Track and Field program and Coach Barbuda extend far beyond a group of talented athletes. Coach Barbuda has a remarkable ability to assess individual strengths of an athlete, as well as the diverse personalities of each member to create a cohesive team. Coach Barbuda will take the time to evaluate each athlete and identify which event they will truly excel in, whether in throwing, sprinting, jumping, or distance running. He firmly believes and will often say, there is a place for everyone on this team. For the last 53 years, Coach Fabiano has prepared the fields for all home events. Every hurdle was set up, the fields properly lined, and all necessary equipment was ready for his athletes. Renowned for his organization, he carried manila folders containing detailed records of each competitor's name, event, distance, and times, another testament of his dedication to the sport. When Coach Fabiano retired this year, several former athletes were asked what they remembered the most about their track and field experiences. They fondly recalled the end-of-season Sunday parties, the motel music that played at every practice, and learning to hurdle and jump to the rhythm of the tunes. They remembered munchkins at the discus circle, singing "Oh Frankie Baby" on bus rides home. They remember the dedication, time, and knowledge of their coach. I could continue praising Coach Fabiano's exceptional qualities as a man, coach, and father, but time does not permit it. The examples I've shared here only begin to capture what it means to be a Hall of Fame coach. It is with deep honor, respect, love, and admiration that I introduce Coach Fabiano into the Massachusetts State Track and Field Coaches Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, the first inductee into the MSTCA 2024 Hall of Fame, Coach Fabiano.
This is really hard. Many of you out there are probably saying to yourself, who is this guy? I've seen him floating around, but I don't really know who he is. Anyways, good afternoon. My name is Frank Fabiano, and I've coached girls track and field at Dedham High School for 54 years. If anybody told me that I'd be standing here this afternoon, introduced as an inductee into the MSTCA Hall of Fame, I would have told them that there was no way this would be possible. My resume certainly pales in comparison to the outstanding individuals being introduced this afternoon, and as well as all of the giants that are currently in the MSTCA Hall of Fame. I'm proud of the fact that I've been able to lead the outstanding athletes of Dedham High School through 119 seasons of track and field and 16 seasons of field hockey. I am also truly honored and extremely humbled by the fact that the kind members of the Executive Committee and the Hall of Fame Committee have chosen to honor me for that accomplishment this evening, longevity. I must say that I have truly lived a charmed life as a coach. In terms of support I've received throughout my coaching career, I probably rank quite favorably with anybody that has been inducted. Everyone that is coached surely understands the sacrifices that a coach's family has to endure. Missing anniversaries, birthday parties, dinners, forget any family activities on a Saturday or a Sunday during the winter and spring season. I don't know how many times I told my wife that I'd be home by 3 o'clock and we'd go out for dinner after a Saturday or a Sunday MSTCA meet. When you're competing in the MSTCA relays at Seacock High School, you're lucky to get your discus medals by 4 o'clock. Lost my place. Many of you may remember the famous Red Auerbach freshman sophomore meet at MIT, which started, I think it was one of the first ones, which started at 12 noon, and I believe we were still there at 11 p.m. I know my wife certainly does. The first comment my wife makes when I return from a meet usually is, "Why are you so late?" It's always the same. A few seasons back, Dedham competed at Wheaton College with the 7:30 Tri-Valley League start. We didn't return to Dedham until after 12 a.m. I was saying good morning to our girls as they exited the bus. I can't tell you how many times I would return from a game unannounced with my assistant coaches and expect my wife to share our dinner, and she always did without complaints. I'm sure she just loved to hear us talking about that day's competition or meet. I've been blessed with an incredibly supportive family. I've had the honor of coaching all 3 of my daughters and 4 of my grandchildren in track and field and 2 in field hockey. This is true, at one dual meet at Dedham, I had 4 grandchildren competing in the meet. Caroline Kelleher placed first in the 800-meter run and 4x400. Ryan Kelleher placed first in the 400-meter run and the 4x400. Max O'Connor placed first in the shot and first in the discus, and assistant Avery O'Connor placed first in the shot and first in the discus. My daughter Laura was recording results at the finish line, which she did for just about every single meet we ever had. My daughter Karen and her husband Matt were officiating the long and triple jump. My daughter Stacy was officiating the high jump, and her husband Jojo was marking the discus. My wife told me not to say that because she said that people would think that my grandson did so well because he's maybe he did. Stacy was okay. My son-in-law Sean was taking pictures of the competition for the local newspaper. I'm sure that's very hard to beat. For the majority of my career, I worked for 2 incredible principals, Mickey McGuire and Don Seeger, both former ADs and former Dedham High School track and field coaches. They just got it, they understood. And two wonderful math department heads, Annette Sexton and Marianne Placentino. I'm not exaggerating when I say that I never had to attend an after-school meeting during an athletic season. They'd always come up to me and say, you need to be at practice, go take care of the kids, I'll fill you in tomorrow. And they never did. I cannot ever recall my equipment managers, Mark County, Bob Chris, or my athletic directors, Don Seeger, Bob Lynch, Jake Santa Maria, Steve Tracer, ever refusing a request. Our girls would have 20 discs, 6 shots, and 10 javelins available at practice every day. We'd go up there with milk cartons full of discs, and our kids would throw and throw and throw, and that's probably why we've been so good in the discus over the years. Our girls suffered very little downtime. Some schools are lucky to have one implement for each event. Never the same, never a problem done. I was blessed to work with a number of talented coaches: Fred Tressler, Bob Lynch, Jim Walker, Melissa Nixon, Kev Leonard, Bill Washcroft, Paul Travato. All of these coaches worked with our runners, freeing me to coach the skill events that I truly had a passion for. I was fortunate to experience firsthand the growth of the MSTCA. I learned so much at each MSTCA event. Charlie Leverone was a great resource for me for the throwing events. When you saw Frank Boondy at the shot with his putters, you'd start thinking about placing second for your athletes. I can't tell you how many times I feel that I had a first place discus or high jump relay team, only in honor to Jim Moore's outstanding throwers and jumpers from Dennis Yarmouth. If you wanted to learn how to run an efficient meet, just see Rick Cates, Mike Miller, Joe Tranchita, Chuck Mountain, or John or Lucia Carroll. I've seen some of the best officials in the sport, Mike and Tommy Ma, Arthur O'Brien. How often did Lou Tosi and Jim Morris conduct a relay meet of over 1,500 athletes in under 3 hours, running two divisions to Reggie Lewis on a Saturday or Sunday? Last but not least, the Dedham athletes were just a pleasure to work with. Dedham always had a reputation for outstanding throwers and jumpers. Catherine Sargent, Juju Sava, Liz Patterson, Samantha Robinson, Ellen Osowski, Elizabeth Balzerini, Stacey O'Connor, Giselle Nicholas, Radisha Bernard, Billy Coonahan, Robbie Bloom, Jaden Brown, all MIAA All-State meet medalists, just to name a few. Our athletes were not afraid to work. In conclusion, although I'm very honored and humbled to be here today, I'm not truly sure I belong here along with these giants of the sport of track and field. But if you promise not to tell anybody, then I promise I won't either. Thank you.
Great job, Frank. I need your department head, by the way. So, get out of all those meetings. Outstanding. Our next inductee needs no introduction because he's been spoken 2 times already. So, I'd be remiss if I didn't do a little something. His son Brad's going to be introing him at the end of his highlight video. But our director of special events through the MSTCA, Fred Doyle, has coached at Swampscott, Tewksbury, Bishop Fenwick. He's kind of done it all. He's won state titles. He's been a coach of the year. He started middle school programs. He's a jack of all trades. He can do it all. So Brad will come up in a moment to intro him, but let's roll that video.
I'd like to congratulate Coach Doyle on behalf of the hundreds of student athletes like myself who were lucky enough to be coached by him and to tell about it. Because you cannot get into the Hall of Fame by giving your kids easy workouts. Coach didn't watch from the sidelines, though. As a coach, he would lace up his Nikes, usually in a color combo and available to the general public, and he would challenge us to keep up with him. He coached us by example. And I don't just mean the running part. By his example, we unruly teenagers learn how to work hard. We learn how to expect more from ourselves. We learn how to work as a team. We learn how to project confidence and to win honorably. We even learn how to lose honorably. although that was pretty rare because our coach was Fred Doyle. A lot of us kids are in our 50s and 60s now, and the athletic talent that Coach helped us discover in ourselves and develop has been gone for a very long time. But those other lessons that he taught us, by example, literally changed our lives. And for that, we are also very pleased to see him in the MSTCA Hall of Fame. So congratulations, Coach, and thank you.
All right, so I'd like to congratulate Coach Doyle on behalf of the Bishop Fairmont Athletic Department on being inducted to the MSTCA Coaches Hall of Fame. Coach is just a wealth of knowledge, and we are so lucky to have him here, not only working with our young athletes as a mentor and role model, but even working with some of our coaches and a lot of our coaches, and just they kind of watch the way he coaches and watch what he does. And he's a mentor to our coaches, he's a mentor to our administration, our staff, and again, most importantly, to our student athletes. And we are just so lucky to have Coach, so proud of him, not surprised at this honor because he's done so much for the sport, and just a great human being. Everything he does for track and for our students, you know, he's such a great role model, but even a better person. So Coach, congratulations, enjoy your night, and we love you.
When I think I'm free, and you say when I am foolish, when I don't belong, oh, you say I'm yours, and I believe, but you say that me, oh, I believe.
My name is Katie Toner-Scullion, and Coach Fred Doyle wooed me and thousands of others into running. We want to talk today about your impact on generations of young people. So those gifts you bring are the ability to communicate, to talk to anyone. Man, do you have the gift for gab, the glee in storytelling, and fun banter. You also have incredible empathy. You have the capacity to notice and connect to every single kid. You also often usually connect to their siblings and their parents. You notice them at a time, you know, when we want to be noticed. You are a force for positivity always. You know how to uplift spirits. You showed us how to cope when we had disappointment, when we had loss. And you helped instill in us sort of self-knowledge and huge confidence. And you showed us how to do it together, building thriving teams who bonded with each other over this like really special shared experience. So we all admire, and boy, do we thank you for following that calling you had to do this work with young people. I can assure you, your gifts molded and changed us. Your work lives on in us. I could not be prouder to be here, or more thankful to be here, to tell you you are a legend. Well done.
I hired Fred Doyle as a middle school phys ed teacher and cross-country and track coach in the late 1970s. He was one of the best hires of my career. His relationship with student athletes and their parents was A+. Fred created large and outstanding teams by getting his middle school students to participate early and then join his high school teams. His success in the 8 years at Swampscott was super. 10 Northeastern Conference championships and a boys and girls state championship. He developed incredible talent both on the track and in the classroom. Just a few of his all-state performers: Patty Renee, Katie Toner, Mary Green, Kristen Ingstrom, Bill Harrington, Sean McCarron, Mark Ernst, Alicia and Kyle Emery, Michelle Williams, Bethany Maitland, Toby Warden, and Kenny Richardson. In my 15 years at the MIAA, I had the good fortune of being in charge of cross-country, indoor, and outdoor track, and had the pleasure of working with Frank, Elaine Mooney, and the MSTCA, and love what they promote and do for cross-country, track, student athletes, and coaches. Congratulations, Fred, on your induction into the MSTCA Coaches Hall of Fame.
Just one more intro speech, I promise. My name is Brad Doyle. Fred Doyle is my father. I'm from Portland, Oregon, so it is an honor and a pleasure to be here today to shine a spotlight on the dedication, innovation, and hard work of the coaching career that has not only inspired us, but has also made a significant impact on the athletes, the families, the communities, and the other coaches as well. Growing up, my father was the heartbeat of my sports teams, whether that was basketball, baseball, soccer, track and field, kind of you name it. He was always there, clipboard in hand, ready to lead us through drills and inspire us with passionate pep talks. The Hornets and the Cosmos really come to mind. We were with the Cosmos for like 6 years. It was awesome. He always taught me and my sister 3 important life lessons: do your best, do what's right, and treat people the way you want to be treated. These 3 values I live my life by. I see some nods from his former athletes here as well, and he's also passing that down for to more generations and his grandchildren as well. Whether it was win, lose, or draw, it was how you played the game. It was those moments that I learned that winning was secondary to the relationships that were built and the character that was developed. As I reflect on this, I realized that my father wasn't just coaching me in sports, but he was teaching all of us life skills, teamwork, perseverance, and the importance of kindness, as you saw in that video as well. I'm grateful for those days and knowing that his legacy continues for every athlete that he coaches and trains. As we prepare to present this award, let's take a moment and reflect on the journey. The path has been marked by perseverance and the steadfast belief in his vision. Not only setting the bar high, but also uplifting those around him, demonstrating what it means to be a true leader. So now, without further ado, I'd like to join me in welcoming to the stage this year's Hall of Fame inductee, Fred Doyle.
Don't drop it, Fred. Thanks, appreciate it, Brad. Had to fly him all the way to Oregon to get somebody to say some nice things about him. First of all, I want to thank the MSTCA Hall of Fame Nominating Committee. I am truly honored, flattered, and most appreciative of being included in the class of 2024. I want to thank my family for supporting me, and all of, as Frank mentioned, a lot of late nights and weekends and different things. I really appreciate them. My sisters and her husband Steve, my daughter Jocelyn, her husband Al, my son Brad, and my wife Joy especially. Also want to thank all my former athletes for attending today and helping join the celebration. It means a lot. There were a lot of fun times, a lot of tough times, and a lot of great memories. I also want to thank Dick Baker, Scott Conley, Katie Toniscullion, and Frank Keown for the tributes and the testimonials in the video. truly humbling, to hear those words, and I really appreciate it. So, coaching high school kids is like picking out a Netflix movie. It's a lot of comedies, a lot of action movies, there's a lot of drama, there's some mysteries, and yes, the occasional horror. But at the end of the season, it's like the ending of a Hallmark or Lifetime movie. Everybody's enjoying it, memories are great, end of the season banquet, the awards, oh geez, this is great. All is forgotten, just good memories abound. So early this week, I was thinking back to when I started at Swampscott High School. It was fall of 1976. I was just first head coaching job. I know the coaches can probably think back to similar experiences. So, first meeting I had, there were 4 people, and there were 3 boys and 1 girl. And so my advice was simple: go back and get 3 of your friends and come back for the next practice. And hopefully they took that to heart, and they went back and they got some people. I was very fortunate because we had some pretty good quality. One of the girls, Patty Renee, who I called the mother of long distance running at Swampscott High School, became a state champ, ran a 4:47 miles, still number 7 on the all-time Massachusetts list. So we were very fortunate. We had some success early on. But I believe the team members, they thought I wouldn't return because there were a few things that happened that first year that might have made a lesser person, or at least less stubborn, not return. But the first one, we had a dual meet cross country at Salem High School on the old Gallows Hill course. It was a seasonable or unseasonable 85-degree day in September. It was our first meet. And my captain, who's here today, first captain, Michael Valley, he crosses the finish line in 2nd place. 2 steps later, he collapses. We had to get him to Salem Hospital, which was right down the road, fortunately. And he recovered, ended up having a great senior year. But that was the first. And then about a month later, we were going over to Marblehead. Marblehead used to lock up their track, probably to keep those people from Swampscott out. But so we used to have to hop the fence. And it wasn't just a little fence; it was about a 12-foot fence. And but back then, the kids could climb fences like they ride a bike. They were very good at. You couldn't keep us out. And then one of the kids came up to me. I noticed one of the newcomers on the team was straddling the fence, and he says, "Coach, I don't know if you know this or not, but he's a hemophiliac." And it was like, oh my gosh, this journey is going to end before it begins. But he made it over the fence, and we continued on. And then at the very end of the season, we used to run a GBL versus Northeast Conference, and it was kind of an all-star meet. It was a pretty good meet. We picked 2 from each team, and so the meet ended, and the kids ran well, and so as customary, we did a 20-minute warm down, and there were about 4 kids that came with us, and they didn't come on the run. They stayed in my car listening to the radio. However, they didn't turn the car on, and as you might expect, the battery was dead when we came back. Well, as you know, in November, it gets dark early, so we jogged down about half a mile down the road to a gas station to get some help, and the guy took some time, and then we come back and the gate was locked. So we had to go all the way around, we had to go to the caretaker's house. Finally, we get somebody to get them, and get the car, jumps the battery, and of course, we were a little short on gas. So then we had to go all the way around, all the way in. So it was kind of one of those things where everything that could have gone wrong the first season, it certainly prepared me for the subsequent seasons. And we had a lot of success there. I mean, I think back at it, just some of the highlights, and you can read it in the bio, but the first highlight that really comes to mind is we had a dual meet with Marblehead, and it was to the conference championship, and they were, you know, I figured a couple different ways, and I didn't think we'd win, but of course you never tell your team that. And so, a good friend of ours, who was the custodian at the time, Louis Gallo, he helped the director of the band, so he got the band to come out, and then he got the director of the cheerleaders, and the cheerleaders came out, and then we had everybody's parent, and uncle, and aunt, and everybody we could get. It was a huge, yeah. So Marblehead got off the bus, and I sincerely believe they were beaten as soon as they heard that band. And it's not because they were that bad, they really weren't that bad, but the band was the cheerleaders, so we're pretty sure we could go 1-2, but you know, a lot of dominoes had to fall the right way for us to win. But Frankie Owen, who was in the video, ran the race of his life, and he got third. As you know, 1, 2, 3 in a dual meet is an automatic win, and so we beat Marblehead 28-29. So that still remains one of the big highlights, because you know, when you can grab a victory where you think a loss is coming, it's obviously very rewarding. The girls and boys team both set Northeast Conference records with winning streaks. Boys had 44 meets in a row, girls had 48. It was just some, you know, the state relay title in the state, we tied with Westwood. A lot of really, really good memories. But wins, loss aside, it was really the kids that, and the foundation, the relationships we built, that even to this day, you still really enjoy seeing these people. And it really, a lot of these have changed lives. Some of the teams, they are still best friends with some of their teammates. And I think that's obviously a tribute to this sport, because you know, it builds team culture and fosters great relationships. So in closing, I want to thank my parents for instilling in my sisters and I the values that they did, and really reaching us to really do your best and be the best possible that you could possibly be. So thank you very much again to the MSTCA. I greatly appreciate it.
All right, the Doyles are winning. Frank, your family didn't give you a standing O. What's going on here, buddy? What's going on? All right, awesome. 2 great speeches, 2 great coaches. On to our third of the evening. He's going to be introduced by his coaching partner, Scott Cody, after the highlight video. Just a couple of quick things about Coach Jamal Prince. I know him as a just really infectious. Whoop.
That's not me.
Oh, yeah, next video. Mike Miller playing the role of Jamal Prince. I was like, here it is.
Jamal, you sure that's not you?
You're in a little better shape. It'll work. All right, here we go. So anyways, I've gotten to know Jamal throughout the years as just a really, really humble person, someone that always says hello, always there for a chat. In every single track meet since I started coaching in 2005. He's won an awful lot, but what I found really intriguing about him is if you read his bio, it's basically like an entire page out of the globe just thanking people that connected with him throughout his career and helped him. And that just tells you what kind of a person he is. So, roll the video and then Scott, you come on.
Jamal, Mr. Prince, aka JP, congratulations on your induction to the Hall of Fame. For the last, I would say 8 years, I've been coaching at Cambridge Ridge and Lytton alongside Jamal Prince, and it has been a pleasure to work with Jamal. Jamal was also my head coach when I was in high school, so a lot of this is full circle. I just really appreciate Jamal's preparation for track, his tenacity, and his ability just to continue to learn and grow. When I first started coaching under Jamal, he would consistently just send me little articles and things to read and just really pushed me to learn more about the sport. And I just really appreciate Jamal Prince. He's been a cornerstone for Cambridge track for a long time. He's someone who is just here for the community, he's here for the kids, and he's just an overall great guy. He's a pillar in our community. So I'm happy that we're able to celebrate you today, and congratulations on your Hall of Fame induction, and good luck. And I can't wait to coach with you this season. Go Falcons.
Hi, this is Charlie O'Rourke, Somerville High School track, retired. It is my pleasure today to recognize Jamal Prince as he is being inducted into the MSTC Coaches Hall of Fame. Jamal Prince earned his platinum standard by having 11 state track titles, 13 league titles, and was 3-time Boston Globe Coach of the Year. Jamal was also Massachusetts USTFCCCA Coach of the Year in 2015. Coaching track in high school is not an easy sport. Jamal had the challenge of following 2 Cambridge legends, and Frank McCarthy and Bob McGuire. They are 2 Hall of Fame coaches that had great success at Cambridge. His resume speaks for itself. His athletes respect him and believe in him. For all of this, Jamal Prince has definitely earned this long overdue recognition. He is the platinum standard for coaching, mentoring, and motivating athletes to achieve and proudly represent Cambridge Ranch and Latin School. Congratulations, Jamal.
Frank McCarthy, retired track coach at Cambridge Ranch and Latin School. Congratulations, Jamal, on your being inducted into the MSTCA Coaches Hall of Fame. Jamal, your dedication, leadership, work ethic, and passion for your sport has elevated and changed the lives of everyone who has worked with you, particularly your athletes. Jamal, I don't say this lightly. You are a great coach. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kylie Bernard, and I ran for Coach Prince at Cambridge Ranch and Latin. And I think part of the reason that I had the success I did there and which bears with me forever is because of Coach Prince and the coach that he is. He always dedicated himself to his athletes and was always willing to go the extra mile. I remember one time my junior year, I rolled my ankle and I couldn't run for a week or so. And he opened the pool for me and gave me exercises so I wouldn't lose my fitness. And he just always knew the right thing to say after races, no matter if it went good or bad. He was there and was a listening ear, and he just knew what to say. But I think my favorite thing about Coach Prince is how he believes in his athletes. I feel like there were a lot of times when I didn't believe in myself, but he believed in me, and that made a difference in my performance. So thank you, Coach Prince.
I have the honor of, introducing Jamal as an inductee to the Hall of Fame. I've known Jamal since 1980. We were on the same track club along with Chuck Martin over here. So I've known him for almost 45 years now. So got to know him pretty well. And what I admire about Jamal as a coach is that he wants to know every single event. It's like we're both distance runners. He now helps coach with the distance runners. He motivates them. He knows every single one of them. But he coaches the sprinters. He coaches the jumpers. He coaches the throwers. He coaches the hurdles. And he's always studying, always learning, always trying to get better, learning new things. The other thing I think that makes him a great coach. He is one of his passions, I believe. I don't even know if he knows this, is that he really looks for kids that need an opportunity. So we have a lot of kids who in Cambridge has plenty of opportunity, but they're kids that don't know where to find them sometimes. As a dean, as a coach, I think he knows that certain kids need it. So again, I've known him for a long time, so sorry. He's able to target kids and give them opportunities they would never have had, because I think he kind of saw that in himself. But also, like, kids, every day is getting kids shoes, driving places, getting them things. I mean, whatever a kid needs, the they may not have the opportunity. That's what he does, and that's why he's a great coach. Titles and things, he's gonna downplay what he does, but titles and those things don't mean a lot to him. When we won them, yeah, they meant a lot, but as soon as that's over, he's always thinking about the next one. And that's why he's a great coach. He's a good man, and I admire him a lot. So congrats.
Man, don't do that. I did that to us last time. Oh boy, these are fun. So I want to begin by saying thank you to the MSTCA. As you've heard earlier from others, this is a great honor. To have Scott here especially, I'm sure most people know they were kind of a dynamic duo. It goes back to the early 80s. So we'll go to college, but it didn't. We came back together. But I think for me, the focus right now of my speech will be just about the journey. The journey that started with the gentleman that was in that film earlier named Frank McCarthy. He gave me an opportunity in 1995. You gotta remember, the 90s were a little different than they are now. We were doing things that were from the 80s and 70s. So a lot of coaches that were there then recognized a lot of past behaviors, and not really much so now in the present. But the larger point is Frank McCarthy gave this 24, 25-year-old kid a chance. And I remember being scared, like you couldn't believe, walking out there, getting the keys to the Ferrari, because at that point we had won about 8 state titles. And it was like, me? I'm gonna be coach. I know nothing about track and field. So here I go, get out there, and right away I'm tested. The first test I had was at a track meet, and I taught a kid how to triple jump. Now, I just need to explain something. The triple jump pattern is somewhat like the hopscotch. That's not what I taught. I taught the kid basically to just run fast, alternating his feet and jumping into the sand. The coach from Waltham came over to me, he said, "Can I talk to you?" And I said, "Sure." He said, "That's not how you triple jump." I said, "Yes, it is." It's not. He tried to explain it to me. Me being young, 24, 25 years old, he said, "I know what I'm talking about. Frank McCarthy gave me the job. I'm the man. Don't worry about it." I go back over to the pit. Kid does the same thing. He pulls me aside again. He goes, "Listen, I'm going to give you these points, but that's not how you triple jump." And I always remember that. And I said, wait a minute. He could have taken the points. He could have done a lot of things in that moment, but he didn't. And from that experience moving forward, I said to myself, I will always be one when I coach to support people. Whether they're my athletes or other coaches, I will always find a way to be supportive. Because he did it for me, why wouldn't I do the same for others? As I've moved along in my career, I've also noticed a lot of other things about myself. Besides losing my hair, I've also noticed that the athletes have changed. So one of the qualities that I've developed is the understanding that I need to be more adaptable. I need to be more adaptable to the kids now and to their needs. And this was even before the pandemic. So I realized these kids are just different. As many have attested to earlier, the kids have changed. I need to change. There's no way I can coach a kid if I can't meet them where they're at. The other piece is flexibility. Mentioned earlier, we don't get a lot of our kids straight out of track farms. We don't get them out of track teams. We get them because they got cut from soccer. They got cut from basketball. We get them. And as I said earlier, I like what you said earlier, Fred, about the movies, the Netflix. It's true. We have a lot of Netflix episodes and athletes in our school as well. But you have to work with that. You have to adjust to that. You have to be flexible to their lives. I had a job when I was a kid. I chose to have a job. I didn't have to have it, but I had it. It gave me balance. And I understand that the kids do the same. A lot of our kids now, they've got the need to go to AP courses. They have to attend to those constantly. They have things on Saturdays. They have violin. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. They have a wide range. And we love those kids. But the last thing we want to do is lose those kids. So for me, it's very important that I meet them and make sure I support them, but also be fair. The other piece is, with the kids, I've developed more patience. Yeah, in the beginning, I wasn't very patient because, again, I was 24, a badass coming out of Boston College, former athlete at a range. Who can tell me anything? Well, I learned quickly. I learned quickly about the patience because I started to lose kids. And kids were like, "You're not listening to me. You're not taking time to care about me." And again, as I got older, I realized that's all I care about. I'll close with this because I do know that I'm one of those people that's standing before you, that's between you A football game, a baseball game, going shopping, cooking dinner, I got it. So I'll close with this. One of the things I did realize most as I've gotten throughout my coaching career is I don't know everything. I don't. I'm willing to learn. I also use Scott as one of my people that I go to. I've talked to John Finn, who's in the audience as well. I've had conversations with many, many coaches there, Paul, who I've gotten to know really well. We got a little PC connection going on over there, I apologize. But more importantly, it's just to love your kids, respect them, and just know that they're here for you, you gotta be here for them. And I think ultimately, like I said earlier, your coaching philosophy has to be centered around them. It cannot be centered around you. I am gonna say this. As Frank said earlier, it is kind of weird when you're standing here and you're like, that's me, I'm getting this award for something I never saw, like, for the honor. And I guess I have a unique experience because I was also inducted a couple years with athlete. So I am honored immensely. I look forward to hearing the closing remark from Mike Miller. I do, because again, Mike, people want to go home. I do love you, Mike. We'll settle it on the cross-country course. I see you girls over there. I saw all of you guys. But I'll say this. Thank you guys, and I truly say this to everybody in this room. Thank you for coming out on a Sunday, September 22nd, to honor us. We truly appreciate all of you, and we can't say anything more. Thank you.
So I'm lucky enough, much like Scott, to induct one of my best friends into the Hall of Fame. So I'm going to watch the video, and then I'll go through and introduce him. So go ahead, Matt.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this task and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end that's right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. But in the end that's right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end that's right. I hope you had the time of your life.
You got gray fast, real fast. That's so yeah. But he looks like the mayor, the warden of Shawshank. There it is. Just gonna loosen up. There, breathe it. So how lucky am I to be able to induct one of my best friends who I've known for upwards of 30 years. into the MSTCA Hall of Fame. Unbelievable, and the fact that it's taken this long to get him in with all of his accomplishments and all he's done for the MSTCA, it is wild. And I've been so impressed by what he's done with his team over the years, and what he did, starting at Weymouth High School, in 1996 to here. Mike was the starting center for the Weymouth South Wildcats in hold on. That's his brother's president. Sorry, Matt Miller, everybody, big round of applause. Sorry, guys. All right, so he was a four-year starter. He caught for Weymouth High baseball team, Weymouth South. Played hockey, went up to Ute. That's Mark Miller. Sorry about that. Hold on. You got a lot of family members that are really good at stuff, buddy. All right. So, anyways, so she started on the Weymouth South softball team for 4 years. Sorry, Lauren. That's my bad. All right. This is I found yours. We're good. That was a good bit, though. I liked it. So Mike began his coaching career in 2001 at Weymouth High School. Both of ours alma mater. He has captured 13 Bay State League titles. He won the first All-State title in any women's sport in 30 years in 2010 at Weymouth High School. They went back-to-back Division I crowns, 2010, 2011. They were runners-up in 2013, 2014, and then again won the Division I title in 2021, and hopefully looks to do so again maybe in 2024. He's got 337 wins across all, across cross-country, indoor and outdoors. That's a 711 win percentage, and maybe what I consider the best league in the state, the Bay State League. He's the director of the Dreamcatcher Road Race. Every next year he has over 1,000 runners. He helped create the Berkshire Run Camp. He's a director and owner of it, and I think really helps a lot of teams. We have over 400 kids every summer. He's your MSTCA Director of Operations for Outdoor Track and Field, does an outstanding job with that. He's considered to be one of the greatest back row specialists in Weymouth High School volleyball history. You may not have the vertical of an Eric Lateo, or the speed or range of a John Conley, or the athletic ability of a Brendan Sterling. But for my money, I'm taking Mike Miller as my GOAT of the Weymouth High School volleyball team. You don't know those names, but he does, and I feel really good about putting that in.
How do you know?
I texted Tommy on the way in. He's really, as I said, he's a jack of all trades, but he's a master of them all. And like a lot of the guys that got inducted tonight, he has an incredible ability to connect with kids, because that's really what it's all about, right? Like, we want to win, but if we're not doing all the other stuff, we're not doing our job, and you can tell by all the tables filled with former athletes. He's an outstanding dad, amazing husband. Didn't see that kind of spot. Salt in my eyes up here. So the only thing I regret is I most likely won't be able to coach with him unless I go back to Weymouth towards the end of my career. But more than anything, that I'm gonna have to look on Zillow for houses in Weymouth, so when my daughter's in 9th grade, I can move back so we can coach her, because I think he's done more for girls track and field than anyone in the state's history. It's way funnier when you tell the jokes. Sorry. Anyways, well overdue, ladies and gentlemen, the final inductee, the class of 2024 Hall of Fame, Mike Miller.
Thank you, Greg. So, I mean, what an introduction, right? I mean, the ideal introduction is one that makes the person who's getting their award cry, then insults them a bunch of times, and then randomly gives bulletin board material to his opponent for November. So thanks. That's great. No pressure, girls. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Uncle Z will take care of us. I took a minute to write down a few comments on paper. If I didn't, you guys would probably miss Monday Night Football. So it's better that I stick to the script. So I want to begin by thanking everyone from the MSTCA, Lou Tozzi, who really unfortunately couldn't be here, for all of the slander I've given to Lou as the MC of this event over the years. He's really missed, and he's just such a huge part of what we do here. Jay Sylvain, our CFO, Linda Robotham, our president, and Fred Doyle, who's the director of special events. And really a round of applause for Fred, not just for being inducted tonight, but just for putting this goal together. And I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee for seeing me fit for induction. A lot of the previous inductees have kind of echoed my humility. I don't think theirs is deserved. They think that they're legends and great athletes and coaches in their own right. I better be nothing but humble. As I'll get to in a minute, I'm probably the least likely person that's ever been inducted into this organization, into this Hall of Fame. But Fred, Frank, and Jamal, you guys are legends, and having watched you coach and coaching against you for all these years, I've learned a lot from you. When Lou Tozzi called me and said I was selected for this award, I was floored and honored, but he did not really give me a lot of time to appreciate it, because he wanted me to really know I only had 5 minutes to make a speech. For anybody who knows me, brevity is my middle name. It's like a big part of my legend, right? That I'm usually brief when I speak, because I'm going to take that 5-minute request, and I'm going to ignore it, and I already have. But if I do go long, just indulge me. I'm probably, as I just said, the least likely person to be inducted into any athletic Hall of Fame. I grew up in a house with an unbelievable family of athletes and coaches. As Greg pointed out, my brothers, Matt and Mark, are here. Matt has been inducted into his College Hall of Fame at Babson as a basketball player. Mark was a Division I hockey and baseball player at UConn. I worshipped my brothers growing up. And I knew pretty early that unless Nerf hoop became an organized sport, I was not going to go D1. And then I kind of looked to my sister. She was a really, really hard worker. She played on the varsity soccer and softball teams. And then I realized I'm not a really hard worker, and so I can't do that either. So I got lucky. I got really lucky. My Little League coach, he nicknamed me Wheels because I was the slowest kid on the team, and he's my dad. And so, I was the 11th best player on a 10-man volleyball team. I just sat with the coach on the way home so he wouldn't cut me, and he's one of my best friends today. So you just do stuff like that, you'll be fine. So if you ever bet on me to make it into an athletic Hall of Fame, you have a problem. You're a problem gambler, and you need help, because my odds were not very good. But I want to get serious for a minute. So what my dad doesn't realize is that he was my coach growing up, and he worked 2 full-time jobs. I don't remember him ever missing a game. He was a tough coach, and he was not for everyone. And if that doesn't ring a bell, then that's pretty much. But the stuff that people didn't realize about my dad was that it was the kid that, something was going on at home. Maybe he didn't have a dad at home. My dad always made sure that kid got a ride with us to practice. And those are the things that stuck with me. And when it was time for me to become a coach, I didn't have to think about that stuff. It was innate, it was in me. It was all about giving the kids tough love that needed it, and just giving the kids love that needed it. I'm just really lucky to have the mom and dad I have. They're my biggest fans, they're my biggest cheerleaders. My family over here, my nieces and nephews, my sister-in-law, and Nick and Smitty and everybody that's over there is just a huge part of my support system. I got my teaching job in 2001, and Eddie Meehan was retiring. I told him that I was going to be the conservative Ed Meehan. I'm not really conservative anymore, but I'm still, and I'm not Ed Meehan, so I guess that was neither of those things were that. As my brothers pointed out in their best man toast to me, I was hired as the cross-country coach on what was most likely a phone interview. It actually was, though. People, come on, it's fun. That's actually true. The girls' coach at the time, Dean Suki, he called and asked me to work with the cross-country team because, quote, "You're young and I don't have anyone else." And I was like, sold! And that was the end of it, and I never really looked back. I don't know if I was going to say no or how close I was, but I thank God every day that I didn't, because becoming a coach has defined pretty much everything about me. I was not good at first. I didn't know what I was doing. Jamal talks about, not being able to teach the triple jump. I wasn't sure how many steps were in the triple jump, so it was a long shot that I was going to stick. But I do remember 3 coaches in my league who kind of took me under their wing a little bit. They don't even realize they did. One was actually Frank. I watched Frank, and I talked to Frank about how to set up, as his daughter pointed out, like the meticulous nature of how he set up the track meet, and how much pride that he put in that. And all the conversations I had with Frank along the way were really meaningful. Another one was Joe Tranchita of Newton North. I think the greatest coach in the history of the state. Joe's had some health problems in the last few years, but I still consider him my mentor in so many ways. And the last one is Mike Glennon of Brookline, who for the first few years did not give me the time of day, but he eventually offered me a great deal of coaching advice, even if I didn't ask for it, actually especially if I didn't ask for it, even if I wasn't having a conversation with him, he made sure that I knew what his perspective was all the time. And I'm so thankful to have the coaching friends I have. I do believe we have the best league in the state. People like Mike DeYoung and Chris Van Cott, Joe Rich, and there's just too many to name. And I remember when Joe gave his Hall of Fame speech a few years ago, he said he was a master thief in coaching, that anything he taught his kids, he took from somebody else. And I feel the same way, but not in the same way. I feel like it's the relationships I've built and had the blessings to be part of, and that's really been what it's been about for me. The success of our program for the last 24 years has very little to do with me other than just I have an eye for coaching talent, and I've brought in so many just transformational coaches: Steve Fitzgerald, Malcolm Gurney. I brought Ed Meehan back to work with us. And especially the guy that I've been able to work with for the last 13 years until now, John Connolly, who was an 8th grader on the first team I coached and then came back right out of college and worked with me. And then my current assistant coaches and crew, Cody, Cassandra, Brandon, Andrea, and Julie, what they do, what they bring to my athletes is really what makes us tick. And I want to give Andrea and Julie a shout out for getting all these people here. I don't know what they... I don't know what they paid you to come here, but it wasn't enough. And lastly, just speaking of not lastly, sorry, but
We're so close.
Speaking of my athletes here, former and present, I can't name all of you. I would love to, but you are the only reason I'm here. and that's a fact. And to the parents who are here of our former athletes, I'm so grateful to just, track has been like a second family to me, and you are all a huge part of it. Thank you for entrusting your daughters' lives and well-being to me all these years. Coaching has given me so many experience I'm blessed to have. My BRC family, Chuck, Z, and Jocko, Kelly, the trash car, the whole group. All of you guys are just, I have a job in the summer that allows me to just hang out with my friends for a week and then make an experience that makes a difference in kids' lives. I want to thank Jocko for nominating me for this, and whether I deserve it or not, and Z, I want to thank you for everything you had to say, but it was really you that's taught me how to get a team to the top. And then I want to also give a shout out to my MSTCA friends, Jay, Chuck, Matt, Derek, the Econ, the BOT, the cabinet. You should be proud of being part of such an incredible organization of coaches. And I want to thank you guys for answering the phone when I call, and for covering me when I tell my wife you called me and I had to answer the business. And one more guy I want to thank is Jimmy Nolan. That's my guy. 358 days a year we talk about coaching, and we kind of just talk about some complain about some crazy parent. It's never you, Justin. You're cool. But lastly, and really lastly, and most importantly, I want to thank the three most important people in the world. Kate, my wife, Scarlett, and Poppy. They sacrifice so many days and nights so that I can do what I love. Coaching soccer or basketball would be hard, and families of those coaches make huge sacrifices. Cross country and track is 10 months a year. To have a husband and dad commit to that is a real challenge that requires patience, understanding, and love. I asked Kate before we had our girls if she thought she wanted me to quit coaching when we started our family, and she said, "I'm not sure either of us would like the version of you who wasn't a coach." She was right, but I'm blessed to have three girls in my life who love me not in spite of my time spent coaching, but because of it. I'm lucky enough now that my daughters are starting to run track and cross country themselves, but they know no matter what they love to do and what they pick, I'm all in for them, because they've been all in for me all these years, and this award really is for them more than anybody else, and thank you.
For all of our inductees tonight, another round of applause. If you are if you're a young coach or athlete in the audience, or you want to get into coaching, I really hope you listened and had your ears wide open with all four of those speeches. They were awesome. And one thing that kind of everybody had in common tonight is like, it was about athlete first. It was about coaching every kid, not just your state championship kids, right? Coaching them all and making a difference. And all four of you guys have made a real difference in people's lives. So I congratulate you again on your induction. Couple of quick housekeeping things before we roll. One, Coach Rooney has taken a lot of pictures tonight, and we're gonna hopefully release those. But if you took a few good ones, Fred asked me to send those along to Lynn Harmon. Just email address or?
They can send it to the MSTCA.
Right, you can send those to the MSTCA. If you don't know how to do that, just come up and see me and I'll take you through that. And then finally, kind of a gift from Luke, because he loves chocolate chip cookies. On your way out, we have some chocolate chip cookies. Lou likes chocolate chip cookies, and he always has them when we have these things. So those are a special gift from him. And then finally, thank you guys for kind of hanging with me for the afternoon. Obviously, Lou's our normal MC, and I had to step in this year. Hopefully I can help him out down the road, but I appreciate you guys being patient and enjoying the afternoon. Thanks a lot, guys.
We get the inductees stand together for one photo.
Inductees, if you were inducted in the Hall of Fame, come on up and we'll take a quick picture, please. So, Jamal, Fred, Frank, And Mike, this is right over here, we'll get a good picture. Jocko, camera.
Kelly, can you take one with your phone? We're going to try to get a BRC one, I think.
Okay. I did.
I think Lou's on YouTube.
Is that right?
I think so.
Oh, Scott, okay. Big part of you are
I think Lou's on YouTube.
I'm surprised you didn't demand the live stream. You sat right to his phone.
It's right here.
Just so you know.
Is that it?
Is he on? Stole my
He's on there right now, I think.
He stole my acknowledgement. I was going to be like,
It's all good.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. I was like, God damn it. You know I got to throw my brother in here. That's all right. I'm going to roast him next year. So just remember.
I think I got Lou on YouTube. So I've been, well, you can't see him, but he can see you right now. I think it's him. I got one person on, I think it's him. Okay. I was on the phone for 3 hours.